Hi there, I'm Candle Hearts, your local digital artist and pink gremlin. I asked my followers what my next video should be about, and they voted for some AI art shenanigans, so that's what we're going to discuss today. If you're doing a trivial task, I hope this video can provide some engaging background noise, and if you're watching with bated breath and eyes glued to my pink gremlin-like visage, grab a snacky snack and a drinky drink. Just to preface this, I will be linking all sources in the description, and also showing you my terrible script, which is filled with question marks and quotation marks and misspellings. It's lovely, and I'm sure you will enjoy reading my ramblings. I will also be showing screenshots where applicable. I'm not attacking a singular person in this video. I am merely here to cast a wide net upon AI artists, giving you some info and showcasing some of the questionable things that these artists and programs have created and done recently. Also, please do not harass any of the artists or people I mentioned in this video. This is done purely for educational and entertainment purposes only. So what is AI art? I'll start by defining AI art from a few different sources, as the concept is a little complicated and maybe unclear to some people, like it was for me at first. This is from an article at magazine.artland.com. It says, AI art refers to art generated with the assistance of artificial intelligence. AI is a field of computer science that focuses on building machines that mimic human intelligence or even stimulate the human brain through a set of algorithms. AI can construct novel works through machine learning using various self-learning algorithms that derive knowledge from data. AI art is a result of a collaboration between an artist and an AI system, but the level of autonomy can vary considerably, and the outcome relies heavily on the quality of the data that the AI learns from. To create AI-generated art, artists use AI as a creative tool and work with algorithms to set up specific rules, which machines analyze thousands of images to comprehend a particular creation process, like a specific style or aesthetic. The algorithms then generate novel forms, shapes, figures, and patterns to produce new works. Now, this is from the Wikipedia for AI art. I specifically pulled the text to image model section paragraph thing from Wikipedia, as that is what we are primarily looking at when we discuss AI art. That's the primary version of these types of programs that artists use. Several programs use AI to generate a variety of images based on various text prompts. They include OpenAI's DALL-E, which released an series of images in January 2022, Google Brain's Imagen and Party, which were announced in May 2022, and Microsoft's Nua Infinity. The input can also include images and keywords and/or configurable parameters such as artistic style, which is often used via key phrases, like in the style of name of artist here, in the prompt, and/or a selection of broad or aesthetic styles. This is the part where I say, this sounds like art theft to me. Yikes. I think that everyone already can kind of see the issue with this. It's literally pulling images from Google, from the internet in general, and just smashing them together. Also, yes, one of the OpenAI's founders is Elon Musk, current owner and CEO of Twitter. I talked more about him in my previous video, and we'll discuss him in more detail in a future video. There are many other AI art generation programs, including simple consumer-facing mobile apps and Jupyter notebooks that require powerful GPUs to run effectively. Examples include Midjourney, StyleGAN, and Stable Diffusion. On the 22nd of August 2022, Stable Diffusion was released, making the technology much more accessible and free to use on personal hardware, as well as extendable by third parties, i.e. other software projects. This enabled a surge in further innovative applications and extensions from developers around the world, such as plugins for Krita, Photoshop, Blender, and GIMP, and now Clip Studio Paint. The Automatic 1111 Stable Diffusion UI is a popular web-based open-source user interface for the tool on one's own computer. It includes new features such as in-painting or textual inversion. I decided to look more into these plugins as I was curious. Here's a quote from the Stable Diffusion Wikipedia page. Stable Diffusion is a deep learning text-to-image model released in 2022. It is primarily used to generate detailed images conditioned on text descriptions, though it can also be applied to other tasks such as in-painting, out-painting, and generating image-to-image translations guided by a text prompt. I was curious about in-painting as it reminded me of a process that conservationists use when conserving old artwork or paintings, a la Baumgartner restoration. You should follow his YouTube channel, by the way. His content is amazing. And I was actually right. Here's the definition of inpainting. Inpainting is a conservation process where damaged, deteriorated, or missing parts of an artwork are filled in to present a complete image. This process is commonly used in image restoration. It can be applied on both physical and digital art mediums, such as oil or acrylic paintings, chemical photographic prints, sculptures, or digital images and video. So that's a lot to unpack. I just basically bombarded you with a bunch of paragraphs of descriptions of things. In layman's terms, these AI programs are taking text entered in by the artist, quotation marks, and they are pulling tags, descriptors, etc. from the internet, and then pulling the images that were made by other artists into their program, where the program does its thing and smashes it together, and comes up with whatever these things are. AI art isn't very good at hands, nor is it good at text or complex detail. Most of the AI art we're seeing are pretty much ripoffs of other real artist styles, as the AI art artists are typing in prompts like popular on ArtStation or in the style of insert artist here, and big booba Victorian lady but with fucked up hands for some reason. Or maybe the AI art generator just sucks at doing art. Maybe it should learn a little bit more, huh? So that's a basic rundown of what AI art is. What are people doing with it? This next section is titled The Good, the Bad, and the Art Theft, with like a sad face. And that's kind of how I feel about this whole situation. At first, consumers were introduced to DALL-E and Crayon, which went viral on social media because people could type in silly prompts and they would be rendered in a disturbingly creepy and unhinged manner that was clearly very fake and surreal. Prompts like German 985 goes to Walmart and Garfield eats a salad or something would get a few chuckles out of your peers, and that was about it. There was always a signature on these images, the logo of the program or something, to tell you that it was generated by an AI and not made by human hands. You could also kind of tell that these were surreal images not made by people because they just had this certain vibe. However, it got questionable, and it got questionable fast. The aforementioned application Midjourney was released, and all of a sudden everyone fancied themselves an artist. By entering in keywords or other real artist usernames, you could create a cat girl in the style of Sakimi-chan, or a rendered environmental painting in the style of Van Gogh within moments. There were no marks to indicate this was not your work, and they got realistic and believable very quickly. You can still kind of tell something wasn't right for the most part, but it's becoming harder and harder to spot AI art at a quick glance. And obviously, the NFT/Cryptobros saw this as an opportunity to make some quick and easy cash. NFT and Cryptobros had already begun to steal art before, as soon as NFTs were introduced, with artists like Simon Stalenhag instantly getting his art stolen and minted as NFTs, which, by the way, is literally happening still as we speak, against his consent. Simon has since left Twitter, but you can follow him on Tumblr or any other social media, basically. His work is phenomenal and surreal, and you should support him by purchasing his merch or art books. Of course, it doesn't stop there. Jesus. On Twitter, as you can see in the screenshot, bots were created to tokenize images directly from artists who posted them, which essentially yeeted these images onto the blockchain without the artist's consent. Artists were warned to block these bots, and as far as I can tell, they've mostly gone away or given up. Art hosting website DeviantArt actually recently added a feature to their website where a program called DeviantArt Protect would search OpenSea or other websites for artist submissions and would alert the artist when they found an unauthorized NFT matching their work closely. The artist could then contact the website and have it delisted. Hopefully. Unfortunately, sometimes these websites really didn't care. And of course, there's yet more. In October 2018, an AI painting was sold at auction for $432,000 USD. This painting was created by pulling portraits done by real artists in the 14th and 20th centuries and running comparisons against them and against its own work until it could no longer tell them apart. Yikes. I feel sorry for these artists who really can't defend themselves against NFT/AI art because they've passed, but I mean, it's not like this is happening to real modern artists, right? I'm leaving this pause in for dramatic effect because I'm looking into the camera like I'm on The fucking Office. If you're an artist or keep up with the NFT/art scene, you've probably heard of Qinni. I won't go too much into her as I would like to be respectful and keep the triggering content mostly down, but Qinni was a digital artist who passed away, and her work was immediately minted into NFTs, clearly without her consent. I'm going to flash a couple articles up that explain the situation further so you can read at your leisure. I can literally go on and on. There are multiple instances of either NFTs made with AI art or AI art paintings sold for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of US dollars. But we're just going to move on to the miscellaneous art shenanigans that have happened recently. Here my script kind of gets unhinged, and I apologize if I sound insane, and it's because this is an insane situation. This instance is very near and dear to my heart. I will give a slight amount of background to kind of let you understand and explain why I'm this upset. I have tabled at conventions, at anime conventions, and in the artist alley for a very long time. Anime conventions and artist alleys have been part of my life for a very long time, and I am deeply embroiled in their culture. So, now that I've explained that, this is the part where Candle is angry and she stops being nice. Aren't you tired of being nice? Don't you just want to go apeshit sometimes? In November of this year at AXGB, a booth called the Mahou Witch Project was set up selling AI waifu art. Say that 3 times fast. The customer could apparently choose characteristics and styles of art or whatever, and it would ask the person prompts, and you would get a blind box style waifu that was printed out at the convention. Apparently, the staff at AX were not okay with this blind box style of things, as they later posted an update on Twitter saying they had to start selling the prints that people just wanted that were up on that huge wall, probably due to a blind box ban at this convention. This is a super common rule for artist alleys nowadays. Selling blind boxes or blind bags is usually banned. Now I'm just going to flash up some images of this long, convoluted, pure copium description and disclaimer they had up at their booth. Basically, they're saying that they are not plagiarizing because it's just influence, and every artist is influenced by other things or other artists, and it's fine because the computer is just training and practicing just like real artists. Please deliver me from this suffering. Obviously, I also have to mention the elephant in the room. They were right next to real artists who spent hours, days, maybe even weeks on their own prints and had to, you have to go to like professional printers or have a professional printer in your house. So they were pricing out these artists. I believe they were selling these prints for like $5 or something like that, which is insane. That's just pricing out legitimate artists at the convention, and it's just not okay. It's just... Can you tell I'm just melting? I'm just boiling mad. So it does get a little bit worse. I recently went back to look at the image that the user Rabbit on Twitter had originally posted. Specifically, they posted this image of the booth and the prints. Rabbit had their account locked and a DMCA filed on the tweet, which now looks like this if you visit it. Needless to say, talks of banning AI art from conventions have now begun. This news is still pretty fresh, so I'm not sure where this will go, but it's a great segue into my final thoughts. At least it would be, until Clip Studio Paint did a thing, which I need to mention. So on November 29th, which was yesterday, Celsius added an AI feature to its newest paid update, which I will flash some pictures of the article on the screen for you to witness with your little eyeballs. Apparently, the dataset they use is from Stable Fusion, which according to multiple sources may include art that is stolen, aka unconsented work that is added to the dataset, and also random private medical records, which includes pictures of people's faces that are uncensored. So I'm going to briefly touch on this article because it's wild. Basically, the artist Lapine said that their face is in this dataset. In 2013, a doctor photographed their face as part of a medical documentation. The doctor died in 2018, and somehow this image ended up somewhere online and then ended up in the data set, and they did not consent to any of this, obviously. The article, which I will link below so you can read it in its entirety, the reporters tried to contact this host of this data set and they would not respond. Lapine basically contacted this data set's Discord and asked if they could have that image taken down. And they basically said, well, that's just too bad. We're not hosting any of these images, so it's not our problem. Obviously, this is pretty concerning, and I would hope that some of this would be addressed, but it honestly doesn't really sound like the hosts of this data set really care. I personally use Clip Studio Paint, and while this decision upsets me a lot, I hope that they will take all the critique that they're currently getting going forward and maybe consider it before adding something so controversial to their program. They have stated that none of their users' artwork has been volunteered to be included into Stable Diffusion's dataset / deep learning algorithm, which is great. However, given the sheer amount of unconsented images found in these datasets, it's still not a great look. Obviously, a ton of artists and professionals use Clip Studio Paint to do their jobs, so don't bully someone for using this program, as Photoshop and Krita also both have Stable Diffusion plugins as well. I don't believe these AI plugins were added maliciously to these programs, but were added out of ignorance to what these AI programs are doing and what issues they cause. Now this is where we get into Candle's opinion time. So these are not necessarily based around facts, these are based around what goes on in my little noggin. So I might get a little bit upset. And I'm going to try to remain professional. I'm not a law expert, especially not regarding specifics in copyright law, obviously. However, I've been a digital artist for a while, and I think I understand that, the art that I make of my OCs is mine and doesn't belong to anyone else. No one can trace, mimic, or save the art I uploaded and sell it or pass it off as their own. I can easily file a DMCA claim against them and have that shit taken down really quick. So what happens with AI art? I'm really sick of saying that. Are you sick of hearing it? AI art. Bad mouthfeel. A source from The Verge says that the US Copyright Office had rejected a request to let an AI copyright a work of art as it was not made by human hands. This request was made by Stephen Thaler. However, this ruling seems a bit murky since there is another AI art artist. Oh my god, I cannot. They filed a copyright for a comic that they created called Zarya of the Dawn. Their last name is Kashtanova. So Kashtanova's comic was accepted successfully. So basically, comparing these two cases, the application made by Stephen Thaler was rejected due to Thaler trying to register the author as the AI program, which is against the rules because the AI is not a person, while Kashtanova was registering themselves as the author with AI being the program, so to speak. So essentially, you can get past the rule of AI art not being able to be copyrighted by simply registering yourself, a human person, as the author, even though all you did was type shit into a text box and click enter. Okay then. Obviously, this is ridiculous, at least to me. I believe we need stricter and more clear copyright laws in place for AI-generated work. The root of all AI-generated work, or at least with Midjourney and Stable Diffusion and other text-to-image programs, is based on art theft, and that is art theft en masse. The image the program generated is not yours and should not be able to be sold or passed off as work made by human hands, which it was not. The image was made by pulling image and text data off the internet, made by real artists who did not consent to their data being used in this way. How is that not a breach of copyright law? For now, however, if you file a copyright for an AI-made product but list the author as yourself, you can still copyright any AI-generated work. I could go on, but I'm sure this video is long enough already. Basically, if you are an AI artist, you are not creating anything. You're typing into a text box and you are clicking search. You are not better than real artists, and I kind of feel sorry for you because you can't learn how to practice, how to draw, and create something original and meaningful yourself. Instead, you use other artists' hard work and years of practice as a crutch, and you lie, steal, and cheat your way to some crummy internet clout. It's honestly pathetic, and I don't really care if all your NFTs and AI art get stolen. Of course, I'm just kidding. Unless. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. That's all from me. Have a lovely day, and stay safe. Bye!